Even though Croatia is a part of former Yugoslavia, where women really were not marginalized and there were equal opportunities for women formally, it seems that in recent years the role of women has kind of gone backwards rather than forwards. And even some of the policies that are being made are targeting women as stay-at-home moms rather than being active in the labor force and advancing and having children. So some of the more populist policies right now are in the area of social policy area, where they're trying to resolve the issue of demography or a huge drop of number of citizens of Croatia through promoting policies that, for instance, encourage women to stay at home and bring up children and be paid for that till the children go to primary school, rather than providing services for them for children to access preschool education and allowing women to work. And so, like, one of the areas that we also, I think, need to fight for is not only for women getting engaged in politics, but also in helping them create policies that will work for them, including, for instance, flexible work time, ability to share a work position, having access to services in their local communities like kindergartens, enough kindergartens, extended time that kindergartens are open to, so they fit the work hours of women. All of this is actually missing right now. Well, first, number one, Croatia went through the war. And then through the war, there was like a whole reshape of national identity and a much stronger role of the Catholic Church than it used to be. And there are also very strong political parties which are right-wing parties, which also are really closely related to the church and also the traditional values that they promote. And even though it's not openly stated that the female role is being at home and caring for children and a husband, when you see these political parties, they're also mostly men in suit with, here and there a woman who is more like a token than a real person in power. And even when you look at the composition of the current government, there are 4 women, but one of them is in charge of social policy, another one is in charge of culture. Okay, one of them is in charge of economy, but mostly they are given areas, even in executive government, that are less powerful than the ones that are held by men. Croatia has a system of quotas in order to encourage women to be more active in politics, and up till now the political parties are more open to paying fines for not having enough women on party lists than actually putting them on the party list. So I think it is quite a big problem. Partially it's related to how party lists are configured, but partially also I think it relates to how women feel about themselves as being leaders, so particularly political leaders, and how fierce they feel that they need to be in order to put themselves forward. Well, I think one of the things is to invite women. I often think that people are willing, or maybe some are hesitant to become engaged unless there's an invitation for them to come. I think there is another thing is to show positive role models, like a leader, like in the party that I come from, which is a Civic Liberal Alliance. The president is a female. I am a vice president. I'm a female. So there is a female representation in leadership position. But we, as a society, I think, and as a political party, have to work more on opening space for them, giving them skills so that they feel confident, and also involving them in decision making. Well, this political party is a result of a split within a liberal party that kind of shifted its political position at a certain moment. I got engaged with this political party through a woman whose name is Anka Mrak-Taritaš, and she was a candidate for the mayor of Zagreb. And I recognize her as someone who I would vote for, or I would like to volunteer for, or contribute to her campaign. And she asked me to develop a policy for social strategy for the city of Zagreb, the capital of Croatia. And that was kind of the first step into my political engagement or working with her. And then at the towards the end of her political campaign, it became obvious that the political party that she was part of and whose candidate she was for mayor of Zagreb is negotiating with the right-wing government to join the governing coalition. She and some other members of the parliament thought that this was a betrayal of voters and also of integrity of politicians. And because there is really a lack of trust in politics per se, they wanted to make a stand and show that they are not the politicians that would use opportunism rather than the value system that they stand for. So that was like an important message, especially within the population that really has lost a lot of faith in politics, and that inspired me. And I thought, okay, these are kind of people that I really want to join. And the party is really only less than a year old. But we do have parliamentary members and also members of the Council of Zagreb. But there is also like a lot of goodwill within population about the party. There is a buzz about that. It's exciting. There are new elections coming. There is a space for creating new policies. I am also excited about being able to contribute with some of the professional skills I have from my previous experience in order to help the party also to develop policies that are kind of more targeted, that are more specific, that make people more trust in the policies, so they're not just a wish list, but something that then they can take and say, okay, now we can call you accountable for that, which I think is also very important for any political party, but for the government as well. I'm quite new in politics. It's very exciting. I have done years of informal campaigning and advocacy on various issues. I was also part of the executive government, so I have experience from different roles, but not in a political landscape. I realized that really if you want to have an influence in how the country is run or how the country operates, you have to be in a position of formal power. I have a daughter who I want to grow up in Croatia and to remain in Croatia, and so that Croatia kind of becomes a country of choice, not a country of exodus. And I also think about role model as a mother or as a woman in Croatia, and I think that staying disengaged and then becoming either cynical or feeling helpless is not an option that I want to model for others, including my daughter. So kind of a life that I want for her is one of the leading forces for me to act now rather than later. I think the first big lesson that not just a career but a life taught me was that the fear is our worst enemy. So whatever we imagine that may happen bad is actually preventing us from trying. And whatever we do and try, it turns out to be much better than what we feared. The other thing is that you have to be honest, that people believe and feel that, and you have to be authentic and talk about issues that you really care about, and that's kind of recognizable. I also learned that the issues that I care about all kind of resonate with other people as well as the issues that they care I can feel, because there is a sense of field that interacts between individual and a group, and that none of us are alone. I learned that you have to show results. And then people will trust you, because if you don't and if you just talk, it may be attractive for a short period of time, but then after that you lose that. And also I learned that you can't do anything alone. So you always have to have a group of people, or that it's larger and spreads, and if there is enough trust between each other and enough respect of mutual contribution, then anything is possible. I think that there are two stages of my life forward. One of them, I really would like to be part of the executive government or as a member of the parliament, and I want to be able to work on issues of marginalized groups in particular, because I feel that they don't have a voice because they are not strong voting lobby anywhere. But I also want to be a mentor. I have started teaching some time ago, and I'd like to be that be part of my role in the future, because I think that a lot of skills and knowledge and experience should be transferred to the others so they can take on and keep on going. Well, I would say to them, like, look at me. So if I can do it, you can do it. I think that a lot of people, women including, or maybe women particularly, don't feel as there is a space for them, especially if they are over a certain age. And particularly because the population is aging, and there is a more issues that really are touching people who are over a certain age. They should really become part of shaping policies and the country that they want to live the rest of their life in.